Welcome back to the YF Avengers channel. Before watching this video, there are still many other interesting videos, so don't miss it. To enjoy videos on this channel, please subscribe, like and comment. Thank you. It also is an exercise for the Norwegians in mobilizing their society to deal with crises in the region in which NATO forces would be called upon to operate from Norwegian soil. As we noted earlier this year when we released our report on the Nordics and the strategic, the Russian seizure of Crimea and other aspects of its global activism have had a significant effect on the Nordics. The Nordics are working more closely together to deal with the strategic shift. And they are adding new capabilities to shape a more effective approach to crisis management and deterrence in depth. And the Norwegians, Swedes and Finns are clearly committed to the concept of total defense, where people are mobilized to support defense in depth as well. The immediate focus of defense comes also in the context of change, significant in Europe itself with respect to the next phase of European development. In an article entitled, "The Coming of Hanseatic League 2.0", Harald Malmgren also highlighted this strategic political and economic change. German authorities are now starting to address the possibility of a different European context in the coming years, as pressures within the EU and Eurozone increase towards a potential split over shared financial commitments. Italy is particularly posing this financial issue at the core of its demands for greater fiscal and banking autonomy. What has received little attention in the press and media are the parallel thought processes among other European national militaries.
Among the militaries of the Nordic countries have developed the North European Defence Cooperation Group, which involves the tightly integrated operations of the four Nordic countries' militaries with the UK and the US. The group had been joined de facto militarily by the Netherlands and Belgium. His immediate area of concern includes the security of the Arctic and nearly all of the Baltic Sea area, including the Baltic states.
How the split between military thinking, a clear desire to be part of the Nordic Club, and political thinking in Germany, where Macron and Merkel have tried to forge close ties in the rest of Europe, is growing uncertain. There will most likely be clashes between the different sources of power in Europe in the future, when economic and security challenges arise that require action. Norway sits in a geography where the greatest concentration of military force rests, namely the Kola Peninsula. In a recent presentation by the Swedish military attaché to Oslo, Copenhagen, Reykjavik, the dynamics of change in the strategic geography was highlighted. Basically, with Russia building bases in all their parts of the north, including the North Pole, they distribute their access points to put pressure on the Nordics and NATO in a crisis. The reworking of the geography is sometimes referred as the militarization of the Arctic, but it is better understood as an increase in the distribution of bases by Russia to award points, operations from which force can be applied in a crisis or as part of the diplomatic side of a deterrent strategy.
This reworking of geography provides background to the challenges faced by NATO. Massive exercise, involving more than 50,000 personnel, 65 ships and 250 aircraft, including 14,000 American troops. Carrier Strike Group, CSG, and Amphibious Ready Group, ARG, centered around scenarios of protecting Norway from invasion on its borders by bringing in reinforcements by air and amphibious landings. A key part of the amphibious landings was Iwo Jima ARG and embarked 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit. ARG, MEU stopped in Iceland for training en route to Norway, but two ships were smaller. Dock landing ship USS Gunstenhall, LSD-44, and amphibious transport dock USS New York, LPD-21, had to return to Iceland when heavy seas hampered their passage to Norway. Personnel on the LSD suffered minor injuries, and the unsafe ship's well deck and landing craft utility, LCU, were damaged in heavy seas. The LPD returned to Iceland with LSD as a precaution. New York made it to Norway to start practice, but Gunstenhall did not. According to a 24th MEU news release, the Marines successfully landed ashore at Alvund. The landing force included Marines from the 2nd Battalion Landing Team, 2nd Marine Division, and 700 Marines pushed ashore. With 12 amphibious assault vehicles, 6 light armored vehicles and 21 Humvees. We came to the North Atlantic for a challenge and Trident juncture delivered, during practice. Environment forces us to be flexible and adaptive, said Major Anthony Baraletti, Operations Officer of the 24th MEU, in a news release. It's that adaptability that makes the Marine Expeditionary Unit a lethal crisis response force. As Marines, we derive our lethality from the ability to operate as part of an integrated naval team. The ability to conduct amphibious operations is a key core competency of our service in this exercise. Provided the 24th MEU with an extraordinary opportunity to hone its skills and prepare for combat as a forward-deployed air-sea task force. Additional amphibious landings took place during the exercise, including French-led troops that also included Marines. Dutch and Finnish coastal Jaegers and British troops with their Viking all-terrain vehicles.